Today, speaking of those two tragedies, the president is visiting Dayton, Ohio, and El Paso. He just arrived there with First Lady Melania Trump. He says the visit is about promoting national unity. Watch.
No, I don't think my rhetoric has at all. I think my rhetoric is it brings people together.
But some argue his rhetoric is what's tearing this country apart. He was met with protests in Ohio, and we're expecting to see more in El Paso. We've been seeing some video of protests already underway there. Presidential candidate Beto O'Rourke is standing with those protesters in Texas. Take a look.
People in El Paso, by and large, do not want to see him here, understand that he is part of the problem, part of how we got to this point.
The president is firing back, saying, quote, Beto, phony name to indicate Hispanic heritage. O'Rourke should respect the victims and law enforcement and be quiet. Well, Beto responded with, quote, 22 people in my hometown are dead after an act of terror inspired by your racism. El Paso will not be quiet, and neither will I.
Yeah, I have a really hard time, and I think a lot of people wrote in, even if you're a Trump follower and you love Trump, him saying my rhetoric brings people together is not true. I can't sit on the panel and say that. His base enjoys that. That's part of what makes Trump Trump, to give him credit. He enjoys that chaos politics. He likes kind of stripping it down and riling you up. So I'm not going to let that stand as a statement and just move on past that. That's not true. Second off, if you were a Texan today, I don't think you'd want silence as respect for the victims. I think you'd want action. So when he says to Beto, be quiet, I think that's disrespectful, because if I am a Texan or an Ohioan, I think that's how you say it, I would want movement. I would want to have some anger in my politician. I need a consoler-in-chief that feels my pain. And so being quiet to me is unacceptable.
I'm just sick of the infighting. I really am. Listen, I understand, because it feels like we're on two completely different sides of the aisle. People have two completely different ideologies, so I understand why there's infighting. But enough is enough. Like, we all have children out there that we want to protect. Republican, Democrat, shouldn't matter. American, this is an American problem. Right. We need to face it head on, and the infighting, to me, is not helping. I'm sick of it.
I am too, but then don't have someone tell a person running for president to be quiet. Yeah. You're going to start a fight. Yeah. Right. Bring people together.
And I think, Sam, I'm tired of the fighting as well, but I think right now Beto feels like he has to fight, because the bully is now in his backyard, being El Paso, being his hometown. If it was Cory Booker and
I don't blame him for fighting. First and foremost, I don't blame Beto. I just want action, but I want action. First of all, I want both Republicans and Democrats to denounce white nationalism for what it is, even when our FBI and Homeland Security call it a national threat, our biggest national threat. Let's call it domestic terrorism. Let's deal with it head on. I just want us to stop Republican, stop Democrat, and look at these issues as American issues, and not, I almost feel like that okay, if you are a Republican, you're going to have to see a mass shooting is this way. If you're a Democrat, you're going to have to see a mass shooting is this way. Right. The lens is completely different. Right. Everybody's lost any sort of duality of thought. Nobody wants to form a solution. You say this on the show every single time. I'm on board with you. I'm sick and tired of it, because we're not going to accomplish anything if we just stick to our party lines.
Right. And I don't have a party line. I am definitely independent. I see both sides.
You are.
And I feel like our show does lean one way a little bit. On Trump's behalf, just because we lean that way, he did go visit these places. When yesterday we made fun of him for not going to visit these places, he did do that. I think Beto is capitalizing off of the president being there and getting more airtime. If you tweet the president, he responds to you, you're getting more out there in the public. I don't want to condone what he says. I don't condone what he does. I said I wish he was never on Twitter, but I don't like that. Like, you're very hard in your stance, and I think America feels exactly like you. But the other side, which is half of our audience, also feels the other way. And everyone bends, and everyone's always making fun of Trump, and everyone's always putting up those big balloons about like him, we're not going to get anywhere.
Okay, and I hear you, but I have a hard time not understanding that, like, Trump went after so many other people and birtherism and all of these other things, and now we're like, go easy on him. He's the president. He started a fight after 31 people died. That's unprecedented.
I'm not here to be in a debate like we're on CNN.
I know.
Definitely not.
I'm not trying
you know
to.
What I mean?
I'm
just telling you, if you keep up your rhetoric and your defense, we're never going to come together because you speak for half of our country.
Okay, and then I'm going to tell you is every time he speaks, then if I don't speak up and challenge every time, then I'm allowing it, and I'm complicit.
No one gives him credit for anything. It's always
what will you give him credit for?
He went there.
He said Toledo. He even said the wrong name.
Again, I'm not debating for Trump here. I'm trying to say see both sides. You do not see the other side. Neither does half of America, and the other half is blinded on Trump's side. I'm saying if you guys do not meet in the middle here, we are not going to get anywhere. Making fun of Trump every day is not the answer, and then sticking up for whatever anyone else says on the Democratic side is not the answer either.
And for me, when you separate families, that's also not the answer. I want him out. I don't want to just be okay with him.
Again, I'm not having this CNN conversation about separating families.
I think it's an important conversation
I'm just
to have.
doing this particular instance.
Yeah, I think this is a healthy conversation. I know this is a conversation that many of our viewers within their families are having. I think we need to reach a point where, as a constituent, we're not complacent. So I see where Tori's coming from, but I also see where Jeff's coming from, where we need to come together. We gotta find a way because we're going backwards, not forward. So chime in.